today on 15 on 15.
Americans love Aruba. This was proven when I found a neighborhood in Las Vegas dedicated to the island's timeshare hotels. Plus, we've got a great tip for the runners out there. There is something naughty you should do before you head out for your run. And we find out Bukudi and Tata Beach Resort's environmental history and find out how its current green accomplishment is making money. Thanks for joining us, everyone. You're watching 15 on 15. I'm Yentl Lieuw. I recently took a trip to Las Vegas, reason being why Aisho Simon filled in for me. During my trip, I noticed something interesting in a particular neighborhood in Nevada. Take a look at this. Aruba has many repeat visitors. That's a fact. A substantial amount of tourists in Aruba are timeshare owners. But who knew our group of people loved Aruba this much? There is a neighborhood in Las Vegas, Nevada, where streets are named after timeshare properties on the island. As you can see here, there is Aruba Beach Avenue. That could have been just a coincidence, but then it goes to Costa Linda Avenue, Playa Linda, Aruba Beach Club, then there's Caribbean Palm for Caribbean Palm Village. The street signs you see here are clearly marked La Cabana Drive, Casa del Mar Crescent, and much, much more. It was certainly very neat to see certain properties intersecting and neighboring each other, named after some of Aruba's best timeshare properties. I couldn't do much more digging while in Las Vegas to find out the history and who named those streets, but it was most definitely welcoming. It is very special that Aruba has had such an impact on certain visitors that they would name a whole neighborhood after some of the best properties on this island. In other local news, kidney is a vital organ. Although Aruba now has an advanced dialysis center in St. Nicholas, we should be well informed on how to protect our kidney. Kidney disease can lead to extremities, such as transplants and dialysis being necessary. Here are some signs to look out for.
Early stages of chronic kidney disease don't have any warning signs. Is when you're in the latter stage, when dialysis or transplant is necessary. That is then that you get signs such as itching, such as foamy urine, or that your body retains water as examples of these warning signs. But at that point in time, the disease is already so far developed that there is little that you could do to prevent. Then you could only take treatment, which is dialysis or a transplant.
It is important to keep your kidney healthy. If you are seeing signs of kidney failure or disease, it is important to seek medical assistance, seeing as transplants are not conducted on the island, and it is an intense procedure.
Kidney transplants are usually done abroad, not in Aruba. Personal experience is that a family member of mine did their transplant in the Netherlands, so I'm aware of that for a fact. And it's a very overwhelming experience, but it increases your life expectancy as well as your quality of life.
Experts have a few advice on what to do if you see symptoms of a kidney problem.
In earlier stages, if you just need to change your lifestyle by changing your diet or doing more exercises or take medication. But if you're in a latter stage, then you probably would have to go to a nephrologist, and from there on figure out at what point you would have to do dialysis or a transplant.
Keeping tabs on your health, it is very important. Preschool students attending Nos Paraíso in Paradera went to school very happy today as a new playground was assembled for them over the weekend. On Saturday, Prime Minister Mike Amon, together with volunteers, went to Nos Paraíso Preschool to set up a brand new playground for the children. The activity took all morning and the job led well into the afternoon. The Prime Minister visited the school grounds last week as well, and the teachers had a few requests as to what they needed, and a new playground was one of those things. It's good to know that the preschool runs on solar panels. Don't go anywhere, because when we return, we have a great tip for runners that involves getting frisky every time before you do your laps. Also, we have what nutritionists are saying is a well-balanced, healthy breakfast, and we take you back to the times of slipping and sliding. Those topics and more coming up next. Do you recall the slip and slide? Well, New York City is set to bring it back in a big way this summer. Check it out next. Welcome back to 15 on 15. Running, whether it be short distance or marathon, the workout has become a popular trend to many on this island. Before you tie up your shoelaces, there is one thing you can do to improve your running performance. This may come as quite a surprise to you. Apparently, running and sex go together. Close to 50% of runners under the age of 40 say that having sex before a race fueled their performance, according to a new survey of 1,000 male and female runners. Sexologists say sex can give your running workout an edge. Experts say sex is like any cardio activity, getting your blood pumping and your heart rate going. Since most sex sessions aren't crazy physically demanding, it serves as a kind of warm-up to your run. Having sex before running heats up your muscles and joints as well, making you more flexible. On top of that, both sex and cardio trigger the release of endorphins, giving you the post-booty mood lift as well as your runner's high. And if it is good sex, you get an uptick with your confidence as well. Another interesting fact is that couples that run together have more sex. Let's talk breakfast for a minute. What is a well-balanced nutritional diet? I can tell you a pistachio and a can of pop is not. So replace that with a cup of coffee and an egg and you are good to go. A panel of top nutritional experts has weighed in with its long-awaited breakfast diet advice. The conclusions are that a daily cup of coffee or two may help protect against type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. And an egg a day will not raise the risk of heart disease in healthy people. All you have to do is commit and avoid a side of bacon or sausage or hold off on that sugary muffin. It is indeed hot in Aruba 365 days a year, that is a fact, but thankfully for our wind, our summer heat isn't as bad. The slip and slide is an age-old tradition that some people choose to cool off. New York City is set to welcome this 1,000 foot of wetness. This summer, New York City is getting a 1,000 foot slip and slide. Slip and slides were the epitome of summertime as a child. To bring back the nostalgic toy this summer, Slide the City will install a 1,000 foot slip and slide in the middle of Manhattan. It does sound a bit dangerous, doesn't it? But previous successes in major cities prove otherwise. The company plans to set up additional oversized slip and slides in the outer boroughs and across the country in San Francisco. Patrons can fork over $20 to take a one-time trip down the watery slide atop an inflatable tube. Those who register early will only have to pay $15. For $60, you can get unlimited use for an entire day. Unlike the video, sliders will have to use the mouth guard. As well, there will be a rental water gun for you to sneak up on unsuspecting New Yorkers. You will have to rent the inflatable tube unless you bring your own, which I highly doubt you will bring one in the middle of New York City. If you plan on visiting New York City this summer, be warned, it will be long lines of other sweaty patrons waiting in the streets of Manhattan to go on the slip and slide. Let's take a very quick break. This is what's coming up next. We have an interview with the owner and GM of a profitable, environmentally friendly hotel coming up next. Bukudi and Tata Beach Resort is one of the few resorts on the island privately owned. The property has achieved many awards, mostly regarding environmental conservation and for their sustainability standards. The owner and general manager explains the process in getting the green program in place, as well as what their future plans are with regards to sustainability. Bukudi and Tata Beach Resort's green initiatives started back in the 1980s with environmental conservation. Once that was accomplished, they were then Green Globe certified, Earth checked, and now the property is on the way to attaining the LEED certification, which is the ultimate accomplishment in sustainability standards for hotels. This all started just by listening to the tourists.
It actually started partially with our customers who demanded that we are more environmentally conscious. They hated the fact that we were using plastic, and this goes back many, many years. So the first thing we did is cut out plastics, and then we started when the prices of oil started to increase. Rather than increasing our rates to compensate for the losses, we started to implement safeguards to save as much energy as possible. And from one thing, it evolved into the next thing, and eventually we had a whole green program together and then became certified. And I tell you, it really helps also with our customers. Our customers seek us out sometimes because of the environmental safeguards that we have in place, because they feel that their footprint that they leave when they go on vacation is much less than if they would stay at a hotel that doesn't care.
In order to be successful in transitioning a property into a sustainable development, the employees must be on board. Bakudi and Tara have both the staff as well the guests to do their part.
It starts with the employees who physically and actively contribute to the environmental cause. It comes from the customer side who actively help us. For instance, we go out once a month, we clean up our mile of beach. We have a number of safeguards in the hotel that make sure that we absolutely minimize the amount of trash that we send to the public dump. And of course, it generates a lot of goodwill among the public and future guests even. They pick us off the internet because of our environmental program.
The boutique hotel has achieved many accomplishments already, but it doesn't stop here. Currently, the property is looking towards continuing investments and supporting the government's 2020 sustainability vision.
We continuously try to improve on what we're doing by selecting the newest in equipment. We, at the moment, are very heavily supporting the government effort for green energy. In other words, we have not installed any of the technology ourselves here because we feel that by supporting the web and the Elmar and other generating facilities, that we support them rather than doing it on our own, and then later on they having a problem in having obsolete equipment that they cannot afford to have. So we try to assist in that sense as well. So rather than individually do it as a group and do it as an island.
On the next show, we'll discuss how becoming sustainable actually drives up occupancy as well as profit.